Hello, welcome to the Battling Barrow and another terrain video. When I set up a forest board for sort of games, I like having a lot of trees. But you can see this in Halloween month. I did a Middle-earth SBG Battle Companies campaign, and we started off in the Old Forest, and the board looked great with all those really tall trees. It looked really dense, really difficult to get through. But it was a bit difficult to play on. I'd lose models within the board, I'd knock trees over trying to get to the models on the board. So a solution to this would be to have less trees on the board, but then this sort of loses the whole point of having this tightly packed forest, and you end up more of a board with a few copse of trees scattered about it really, rather than a packed dense forest. So for this I've come up with a solution of making some forest terrain scatter pieces that you can throw down on the board. It will hopefully invoke that feel of being within a forest. So you can lose some of the trees, but you're going to replace it with this forest scatter stuff, so it'll allow you to get access to the board and the pieces and the models and everything, but it'll still give that feel of a tightly packed forest. Also, while I'm here, I kind of always like having forests to be quite a magical place, so I kind of want to add a little twist to this, as it were, and I'm going to use some sort of little Reaper fairy models, and you'll see that later in the video. I guess an inspiration for this would be the forest as depicted in two fairly modern fantasy films based on sort of fairy tales, which is Snow White and the Huntsman has a lovely sort of fantasy fae forest, as does Maleficent. Just really, so I'm using these as sort of inspiration for this, because even in medieval times people believed the forests were magical, so I want to sort of incorporate that into the build. If you're not into that, just leave this step out, but yeah, let's get cracking. Right, got a delivery from Geek Gaming Scenics. We got some of this is cork. These would be for the sort of rock bits, but more importantly, got this modelling compound. Just bought a small bag, so I didn't know if I was going to get on with it or what it's like. Hopefully it's going to be good, and I'm going to like it and buy a load more, because this is ideal. So it's like a plaster type mix for sculpting scenery, perfect for natural scenery. So basically a combination of this and this. So we're going to need a base for it, so this is just made from 1mm chipboard. I've just drawn some sort of oval shape. This project's great because you can use scraps of chipboard, sort of from leftover from other projects. It's going to come in with some scissors and cut it out. So going to go onto a nice protective surface, my old bit of wood that I use for such things. So it's 3 parts compound to 1 part water mix, mix right into a dense consistency. Once firm, wet hands, 45 minutes. Wow, that's great. Can be paid within 60 minutes. Excellent, so that's cool. So 3 parts, I'm just going to use a spoon for that. Don't know how much I'm going to need to cover this, so what I've done is I've prepped another base, so if I do have any left over I'll just apply it on here, and then I can add to it later on. So I'm just going to do the 1 for now, just to get a rough idea of how much I'm going to need. Mix up a bit more of this, but I'm not making hills, I just want rough ground. I want to add some big stones in, so I'm going to add some of this in. I should have done this, glued this down first. It's fine, chipped off. I have to come back and glue these in, but I'm trying to cover it up like the stones have been not just plonked on top there. the earth and the, just something like that. You can also add sort of hills in, and for this you're going to need substructure, so I'm just going to make that out of bits of offcut of foam that I just had left over. So what I'm going to do, glue these in, and what we'll do is we use the sort of compound, the modelling compound, to build up the ridges, just to pile it up, so you end up with something like that. You can also use twigs from the garden, all act as fallen down tree stumps, so you'll see a size comparison of Hugo here. A nice fairly big one. Roughly get your piece where you're going to want it. I'll probably do a thin bit like that, and all this bit is, it's just going to be a fallen tree, so about there. Snap it. Leave these to dry. Some people put them in the oven to bake, but to do that, and when you put the compound in, we'll just push that down on top. So I've let that dry and I've undercoated it in a brown, and I'm going to come in and pick out the rocks in a grey. Just going to come and pretty much do a overbrush, I guess, rather than a dry brush, just to pick out the rock on this. Then just going to come in and dry brush with a sort of tan, just to pick out all these raised details. And I'm also going to just dry brush over some of the brown. I'm going to be covering it up, but now a final lighter tan dry brush just over the top bits. Probably not even picking this up on camera. Now I'm just going to come in with a black wash, just to dull it down a little bit, but still have all that lovely colour we've just done. Just going to come in with a little sort of light green. This is camo green, an old colour from GW. I'm just going to try brush over this, just to where the rocks have probably gone a bit mouldy, a bit of moss growing on them or something along that nature. Just along the top. The twigs can then be painted in dry oak bark to give them a nice bark look. Do some dry brushing later on. Paint the ends in Steel Legion drab. As you're doing the first tan dry brush on the earth, just give the bark the dry brush in the same colour, and the internal bit of log, just to really make those details pop. So we're going to make some ground cover foliage for the forest floor. Actually, Geek Gaming Scenics do sell quite a wide variety range of this sort of stuff, but I couldn't find one that exactly matched what I was looking for, so I'm going to make it myself. So I want it to be really heavily soil based with a lot of leaves, but also rocks, bit of greenery to represent all the leaves you get in forest. Hopefully if I remember, I put a picture up to see what I'm sort of going for. So to do this, I'm just going to, this is a flock, just a dark brown flock. I think it comes from Woodland Scenics, and it's like soil, I think it was called. I'm going to put some of that in. Leaf litter. This is just, I think it's a sycamore seed pods, but you can buy this sort of thing as well. I'll do that. I'll just give that a good mix. Yeah, cool. Into this, I want it to be a bit rocky, so I'm going to get some really fine basalt, balsalt, or whatever it is. Get that in there. So we're going to get some. Yeah, get in there. Some medium, whatever this stuff is, chips and blocks. I forget what it's called. I want to call it basalt, but it's not that, is it? Going mental. Get a bit of greenery. This is from Jarvis. This is called Spring Mixture. So this has lots of really various different kinds of green. I'm going to get that in there. Now we're talking. We are looking very foresty floor there. Let's add a little bit of Woodland Scenics green blend in. Not too much of that. Yeah, you can see how that's looking. And now I've got some of this, which is from Jarvis again. Really, there's no right or wrong. This is heather mixture, so it's just going to represent any plants that are in the forest floor. Yeah, basically you just got to mix stuff up until you get something you're happy with, and I am certainly happy with that. Now one more thing, I'm going to add some of this clump foliage. This is like a foil bit. Not a lot of this. I just want to. You can see that's all stringy, so I'm just going to add some of this in. Just the bits at the bottom, really. Too big. Add some of this in. Any bits that fall off. Go in. This might be put too much in here. Take that clump out. So yeah, that's sort of the look I'm going for. Really foresty floor. Happy with that. And that's what we're going to be using to cover the pieces with. And this is what our ground mixture looks like at the moment, but I want more leaves in there. We've got these sort of sycamore pod leaves in there. That's great. I want more different types of shades of leaf to put in there, and different styles as well. Because not all leaves, when they fall to the ground, are instantly sort of brown like this. So for this, what I'm going to use is this leaf stamp from Green Stuff World. Has a few different styles of leaf on the top here that you just put some paper in and punch out like a hole punch. And you can get leaves. Which I'm not made of money. They do different designs, different stamps, different designs, and you get a really nice variety of leaves. In time I might come back and revisit this when I've bought some more, but you know, only got a limited budget for these kind of things each project, so this will have to do. But what I want to do is get something I can stamp out that's colourful. So you've got this sort of test bit of yellow paper here. The problem with this is when you stamp out the leaves is they're just solid yellow, so they don't look realistic enough. So what we want to do now is make a sheet of sort of coloured paper that will be perfect to use. So to make the sort of leaf paper, it's going to come in different inks. Maybe use acrylic paints. Yeah, wait so I don't knock it. And we're just going to cover the sheet out. So I'm going to use yellow ink. Just like that. They're coming with a red. Down here I'm going to use a chestnut ink just to have more brown leaves, but again a bit of wet blending going on just to, and then because not all leaves fall off a tree and are instantly dead, coming with a bit of green ink. So what you want to do is do this on both sides. and allow that to dry. Finally, just come in with some watered down black paint and tap just little splodges on, not a lot. It'll just add a bit more detail to it. Again, do that on both sides. And this is the paper sort of all dry now. So what you can do is you can come in here and just do random leaves, and you can see there already the brown looks stupendous. Some green on the jump. Green looks good. Some sort of yellowy ones. Yeah, this is all looking very good. Some reddish ones. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is let's adjust the zoom and see if we can get into there and have a look at them better. There we go. So you can see here they are looking pretty darn cool. So they're not all sort of one sort of solid colour, unlike, I think I've got rid of them now. Oh no, here we go. So here's the yellow that we did as an example. It's just solid. These are all different colours. If you try and get some of the black specks in, you're even going to get more of a variety. So what I'm going to do now is punch out loads of these. Quickest way I think is just go across like that, get in loads of leaves, bung them in mix, and then just mix them up. Here's some nice different coloured leaves in here. Also adds a nice bit of brightness to the mix. Okay, so we're going to cover the piece now in sort of watered down PVA and not cover any of the rocks. That's the plan. We're going to come in with our flock mixture. Make sure you get all the edges done first. I always like doing that. And we're just going to sprinkle as much of this on as possible. Make sure you get from all angles as well, because this stuff in there. And hopefully that's it. Use the card underneath to get any excess. Come down from this angle actually. So you sort of spin it around 360 to make sure you've got a covering on all the little nooks and crannies. And we're going to leave that to dry. So next up, I want to add some moss onto the top of the rocks. For that, I'm just going to use this static grass. It seems to be quite like it for moss. So you can see from this picture here, it just looks like how you would expect that to look. So I'm just going to come in with PVA glue. I'm going to brush on. So you're almost dry brushing the PVA on. I don't want it watered down, as in dry brush, you want thick paint as well, so I want thick glue. I'm just going to come in and sort of dry brush glue onto the top areas of the rock. Like so, and then I'm just going to loosen some of the, depends how thick you store it. Mine's quite packed in here, so I want it loose. I want to just pull it apart in the container and then pick up a little pinch, loose stuff, and then just dab it on. I'm not applying this with a static grass applicator or anything. I'm just going to dab it on, and you only want it on the top parts, no underneath. So I think I need a bit more just on the end here. Need a lot of glue, so you end up with mossy rocks. If you can, I like that. You're going to do the same for our log textures. You can see it here, but this come out really well. You've got some lovely little knots in here, so I don't want to cover those up. I'm just going to come in. If we look at this picture here, you can see that even the logs get covered in moss along top. So I'm just going to come in, just make sure I'm just hitting the top bits. I don't want to cover those knotworks up because they're beautiful. That's the bonus of using real nature. It does the work for you. So much the same. Make sure I've got loose bits, not softly packed. You don't want it clumps, you want little bits and pieces. I'm just going to do the same. Come on. Put it on. Just make sure I'm covering those knots. There you got this mossy rock. Next, I want to add just a little bit of forest undergrowth, not too much. For this, I'm going to use some lichen. What I'm going to do is come in with some glue and apply it to the bottom of the lichen or lichen, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And so, bit glue on it. This is slightly watered down PVA glue. I just want to sort of apply it here. If you look on pictures, you don't really have much plants. And those are kind of like stringy, bushy type plants. Ferns is another good one. If you've got any fern leaves, add that in. I've done that on various forest boards before. Don't add too much, just want the odd little bit here and there. If you do have trouble gluing this sort of stuff in, take a bit like this, get a dollop of glue on the bottom like so, and put it on. And then end of a old paintbrush, just use that to put it in. You don't want too much, enough to see that there's some sort of foliage going on. And you put that to one side. I'm going to make some mushrooms now, and these are just made from green stuff. And what I tend to do is, if I'm doing anything green stuff and I've got some left over, I just make mushrooms. But for this, I'm just going to show you how to do it. So you get ball green stuff, pull out a small amount, put it on your tip of your finger and sort of make a dome out of it. Like so. Come in with a barbecue skewer and just put it on the end. Push it through in the end, and as the green stuff dries, hold it in place. Make some snips and just cut the end off. Now, of course, you might be thinking, well, what about that? It's got no point on it now. Where you just come in with a knife and just do a rough point. So you got a little rough point there, and just repeat the process again. Like so. And what you want to do is make sort of domed caps like this, but you can make some more cone-like ones if you like, just to make different varieties of mushrooms. So to paint them, I'm going to start off with the conical ones. The actual main mushroom part is painted using Balar Brown. And during the making of it, you may have been wondering why I left the stalk so long, and that is so you can hold on to it while you paint it. The underneath and the stalk itself on all of them is done with wraith bone. I painted some of the semicircle ones using Scrag Brown to give it this sort of sickly orange colour, and then some as sort of death cap mushrooms I painted using Mephiston Red and just some white dots on the top. So now we're going to attach these onto the pieces. So what I'm going to do to attach them is come in with a pair of clippers and then sort of clip the mushroom down to sides. Okay, to glue them in, just going to use some PVA, little blob. Just going to looking into that blob. So I want this to be a sort of a magical fairy type forest with lots of sort of fey creatures. So look around, and I've got this it's Familiar Pack 2 from Reaper Bones. So let's have a look what we've got here. So we do have some sort of fairy creature here with wings. Some sort of sprite thing here. Fairy dragon. Some sort of goblin boggart type thing here and here and here, really. Just all these sort of weird magically type forest creatures. I'm just going to put hidden, not on display, sort of hidden, perhaps amongst the rocks, behind a log, in between bushes and that. So what I'm going to do is get these all painted up. I won't show you the painting process, do it how you want, but I'm just going to paint these up and we'll stick them on. So here are all the little sort of sprite things painted. This sort of wood, sort of barky type one. This sort of fairy. I think she's meant to be eating fire, but I wanted to do a more leafy, so I got this one done. Sort of fairy sprite. A fairy with just pretty much a standard fairy, but with a little spear. A fairy dragon type thing. It's going to be a little boggart type thing, and this is a whatever the heck that is, I did not know. So on this bit here, I think I'm going to put this here, just poking out from this rock. I'm just going to glue them in with super glue. It's just going to be coming out from this rock. Forest fairy's going to go here. This little chap's going to go here. This strange thing that I can't make out really is going to go here. The dragon, the fairy type dragon's going to go here. And the little fairy is going to go here, I think. Pin there. The whole point of these really is not so they're the main focus of the piece. They should just be. This one's probably one of the ones you see the most. What I'm trying to do is sort of hide them within the piece. Really see them, but yeah. So on that is these now complete. So what I was thinking about doing is setting up the table and seeing them in action. So getting a forest type board, but without all the trees in place. Let's reset up the board from the beginning of this video and see how we go. And so this is what it would look like, sort of all set up. So you can see there's way less trees here. Push some more towards the back just to dense the back out, that I know people aren't going to be playing in that area. But the actual board itself has less trees on, but it still looks foresty. Otherwise, without these bits here, it would just look like the odd tree on grass. But you can see it kind of looks okay. So what I'll do now is I'll say thank you for watching. Please, if you haven't, subscribe and like and all that goodness. Comments down below if you feel like having a chat, and until the next video, take care. Let's have a look at it in some lovely detail.